Video preview of the German Bundesliga match day 33 2018-2019 on the 10th of May 2019. Games ought to be played all at the same time, which is not really the case, as Frankfurt take on Mainz on Sunday, partly also because Frankfurt played last night. But it's somewhat still, well, they actually, Frankfurt know the results then, and they know a lot better what they might need, so it's not quite fair compared, well, yeah, that's what they said, they have to play at the same time. But then they set up this Thursday for the EuroLeague, so it's already some kind of compromise to justice compared to, well, European duties and so on. Yeah, one could get start a discussion about that, which I'm not gonna do here. Anyway, we got, as usual, we got bet market best prices, so to say, and I entered them here, and here I got my computer prices. You may, no, this is not my computer prices. Here are computer prices. Those are the true prices. You can compare it to these, although the order is a bit different, which I didn't change. But they all got a different order, I think. Just Frankfurt, as it's the last game to be played. And here are true prices computer. Here are bet market best prices, which are not yet shaped to 100%, so bet market usually, well, it would be preferred for bet market to have this figure above 100%. Otherwise, if it were exactly 100% as is here, then you could more or less bet freely. I mean, no charge. You just bet to 100%. If you work out the proper amounts, you would and bet on these three chances and get this in return, then you would bet for even money. Anyway, so, but when I had this other odds comparison site, that was sometimes below 100%, which then means some bookies get into trouble, but usually they don't take bigger amounts, or they notice they know already, and then they are not going to take big bets. If they, well, this is three-way betting, sure betting, whatever that's called, but I've never done that, and I wouldn't. And so I think, well, if you check that, but maybe you've done so, or you don't need to. Oh, bet market best prices. Here's a completely different price now. Did this change? What have I done here? True prices. Did I enter the true prices here? No. What have I done wrong? Okay. I've done something wrong, right? Anyway, if I copy this over here, now this has changed. Now you see back these 100%. Now this is still 100%. Is it for some good reason? Yeah, but those figures are wrong, because they should be now 1 divided by this. And now I could, well, either copy it or okay, so I entered it over this, but it was easy to fix that actually. Here we got best prices, and maybe now we find the, well, if there's a change, 4.24, 4.25, meaningless. I'm not gonna re-enter this. It usually should match with these, right? 3.79, 3.39, 1.92, and so on. So, and if we want to set up this perfect betting game the way that I've done this all season, starting match day 8 or so, we have to shape this to 100%, which is done by multiplying the reciprocal of these values, which is shown here. This is the reciprocal of that, which gives the sum of 104%. Multiply it with the reciprocal of that, and then we get 100% here as a sum of these three, right? So I'm not cheating here. It's the sum of these three, as you see here. And so anyway, now we're ready to start that perfect betting game. We could compare the chances. Obviously, we got some big differences. We can do it either in probabilities or in prices. What I say is 3.15, what market says is 4.89. So we got, that's what we have to put up with, or we have to be aware of, that towards the end of the season, last 2 match days, 3 match days, sometimes 4 even, that bet market is a bit confused. Usually you can't make those big bets because everyone's afraid, because they all say, well, what are they playing for? Of course, Bayern, we know what they are playing for. They want the title. Okay. Leipzig, what are they playing for? And when they find out they're not playing for anything, they are surely in the Champions League and they can't go any higher or lower. So they are not playing for anything. But of course, every game is special and you have to look at it explicitly. And maybe they rest some players, they don't have to risk some injuries or whatsoever. And they may also not even, well, you know, not this bad tackling as I usually say. But this game is special, as every other game would be too, as it is the cup final, which will be played, well, I'm not sure, but most likely within, yeah, it will be played in a couple of weeks for sure, in May. And so they meet again. And so of course Leipzig would like to make sure we are competitive enough. So this is what I would say. So I would trust the computer. And before, well, this closing stage, they always argued about Bayern have to play Leipzig, Bayern have to play Leipzig, Bayern have to play Leipzig. So as if the title race was still open. And with this game, it is still open. I mean, if Leipzig can beat them, which is, according to my figures, it is 1 in 3 or 30-something percent, 31.74%. According to market, it would be 20% only. But still, that would be Dortmund's chance, at least to come into range of taking over. And if Frankfurt play in Munich last match day, then maybe huge surprise, but a draw is possible maybe, or a win for Frankfurt. So anyway, and of course the media, they would like to have some excitement, but that's not what they really... but it's a different story what media say and what is so silly about it. But anyway, but here's a chance. And what I would say, it's not just that Leipzig would love beating Bayern Munich. They play this cup final. They would like to make a statement or prove they are good and they are competitive enough. But also they would like to, you know, they do not want to help Dortmund to win the title, but at least they do not want to be blamed afterwards by either by media or by Borussia Dortmund. Well, why didn't you try? Why did you rest these players? Why didn't you help us? Why didn't you at least try? Also, and maybe they are talking to each other beforehand, so maybe Dortmund will have a friendly call and ask them, are you going to perform? Are you going to play? And it is definitely what's going to happen. And observing this over the last couple of years, I'm very sure that no one, no player, no coach, no one anywhere, and also for the spectators, for the attendance, for the supporters, for the fans, you could say no one would be ready to give anything away. They would be, you know, if Köln won promotion now, okay, from Bundesliga 2 to Bundesliga 1, okay, they won promotion. They still have a home game to play against Regensburg on Sunday, okay. What is going to happen? it will be okay, capacity crowd, that's for sure. But they will be happy anyway. They will be celebrating, and this may be the one exception when they say, okay, if it's going to be a draw or something, we're still happy. But if they lose 1-4 or something, they will still celebrate, I'm sure. But they don't want to do that. They wouldn't. Okay, Regensburg are also playing for nothing, but anyway, they would like to play a proper game of football. It may be called friendly, but no one, even in this cases, and even if Bayern were champions already, also they would still perform. They would rest one or two players, that's for sure. They would not tackle as badly as maybe, or badly, I mean, not the way that you need to do these days to be successful, but still. And that's the whole difference, actually. I mean, we had this 20, 30, 40 years ago when I, well, when they didn't, sometimes they just gave away those games. Not by something like cheating or so, but just because they didn't perform anymore. But they can't afford it. The players, if they have one, they got so many other players in the squad or for next season already who signed or new signings or something like that might take their places. And if they have one bad performance, okay, you're out of the team. We got enough other good players, and so on. So anyway, Leipzig are going to play. That's what I say here. That's my statement. Leverkusen, Schalke. I rate the Schalke chances again a bit higher, but here it's obviously the same thing. Schalke are safe. Leverkusen need the win, and so on. And here in Nuremberg, we more or less agree. I could say the draw is a difference. Okay, we can talk about that. But one thing we agree here, because both are in some kind of need, and Nuremberg could still, if Stuttgart were to lose, or even in case of a draw, there's still a small chance for Nuremberg to win this relegation spot, 16th place. In here we more or less agree. I can talk about this later. In Hoffenheim against Werder, we do not quite agree. We do not have those many games where it's not a lot at stake. Here you could say again, Dortmund want the title. Düsseldorf are out of competition. I mean, they are happy with what they got, but can't win anything. But here I would say again, I support Düsseldorf, but I know what it's that it's well, scary. It's I don't know, what would you say? It's a bit dangerous because they might be so happy with what they got and they simply won't get into the way or path or whatever it is. But there is this big but. What if Bayern take the lead? I mean, then it's a friendly for or take the lead 2-0, something like that. Then Dortmund know, well, that's it. And so this is what they usually do not care for at market. And this is a very, well, it's not such a likely scenario according to me, but according to bet market, that would be a much more likely scenario that Bayern simply take the lead and crush Leipzig. That's what they would say. And what would Dortmund then try for? They know it. I mean, they can say, we're not going to tell people or so, but they will know it. They will definitely know it during the game. So anyway, Frankfurt Mainz, I would say some bigger chances for Mainz. Here we have the special thing. I mean, I was showing it here. We can have a look here. We see some bigger differences here. It's the same thing as looking at the prices or looking at the payouts, the possible payouts. I was explaining that quite often. Check out the other videos where I usually explain it, but it's a matter of how much we bet. We bet each other on the true prices we pay, and everyone who gets a bet on these chances, on these three chances, or the other one on these three chances says, my probabilities are good enough so you can bet and I'm not going to lose in the long run. If I get a different price, then I think I can even win in the long run because my compilation is better, my prices. I couldn't prove this yet because I'm losing 1.7 to 9 euros, so to say, on the basis of 1,000 euro per bet or something like that. But you see here, we usually have a turnover. Well, we always have a turnover of 2,000 euro per game, we work out the amount by by the probabilities we have, and add up these two probabilities to work out the amount of money we bet. But that's the important thing, that you have to find the bet size, what you bet against each other. And if we bet the same amount of money, then we can be sure it's pretty fair already. But of course, the one who says it's more likely one certain outcome, he's going to lose if it's not going to happen. So if market says Bayern are very likely winners, I say it's clearly less likely. You can check it here, 56, 42%. Either one is right or it's in the middle. We don't know, but something is going to happen. I'm going to lose quite some money if it happens. If it doesn't happen, market has to more or less put up with losing money, which no one is going to pay to me, unless someone of you might join in and you would have won quite some money and say, I'm going to take betting market. But I was arguing in favor of Leipzig already. Here I can argue in favor of Schalke, because I would say it is a derby, yeah, which is not, it's not a traditional derby, but it's close. Supporters are going there. Hub Stevens said, we have to perform for our supporters, and it's still a very bad season they had, even if, or campaign, or but even if they beat Dortmund, they still would love to take something more from these games. And as I said, they all don't want to be accused later, well, from Gladbach, from Hoffenheim, from one of the other contenders. Why didn't you play a proper game of football, right? You handed this win over or something like that. I was arguing about this. Here I'm even winning with a draw, because I say it's more likely. Here I have to say market maybe a bit more sensible than sensitive. What is it? Sensitive. Than my computer, which I didn't adjust here. But here you could say, well, who needs a draw here, right? It doesn't help. It usually never helps. I brought up the table here, so this time you can even compare that. And I've done it in the way that Xgoals does it, by saying the points they should have won, and they did win, points expected and should, and so on. And there you see Dortmund won a lot more than expected, and even more than should, because they didn't play so well. So usually you have a kind of some gap here. Frankfurt did play okay, but 54 is still too much of a reward for that. Leverkusen, well, now they even exceeded the points they should have had, and so on. But anyway, here's the table, and you see that, what was the game I was talking about? Nürnberg against Gladbach. Yeah, draw is good for nothing. They need a win. But on the other hand, you could say, well, they would like to hold off Hoffenheim as well. So a draw could help if Hoffenheim are not going to win, which is, well, possible, according to me at least, more likely than market says here. It would be kind of the next game. This one we can more or less forget, some agreement, but I take Augsburg, okay, happy with that. Augsburg did play well, Hertha not so great. Anyway, Hoffenheim, I mean, Werder need a win here, but Hoffenheim can still live with a draw, possibly, to hold them off, but they want to win too, but it can still happen. And so, I mean, Gladbach could also argue, okay, maybe defending against, take from here. So, but Nürnberg, they need a win, no matter what. A draw, it's game over. So they are down. So they need a win. So here I would actually accept market. I didn't adjust that price, so maybe a bit silly. I should have done so. But here I have to put up with it. That I'm going to lose some money on either end. So I was not doing so well on this one. Here I take Werder. What's wrong? I mean, if they win, I mean, of course they can all win up here, or 7 and 6. But as we see, Wolfsburg play in Stuttgart, so they would like to hold off Nürnberg. So they need something, or they are definitely trying. So it's not an easy win for Wolfsburg, and the same story here, because Gladbach were on 52 points, also may have some resistance at least, or may face some resistance. So if Werder are going to win, I mean, we had this chance until yesterday, last night, when Frankfurt went out on penalties at Chelsea, which was, yeah, okay, very, yeah, very, well, it was, they were very good, I have to say. I mean, 1-1 at home, 1-1 there. So even if it was a bit lucky, I don't know. But anyway, penalties, that's the saddest way of exiting. But what more? They could have qualified for Champions League, so we would have had an extra place here for German teams. So eighth place would have been still on if Frankfurt would have won yesterday, because they could have gone into Champions League by winning the Euro League. Then we would have an extra place here, so we would have all of these places pushed one place down. So eighth place would have done, which is not the case anymore. So Werder's chances are lowered quite a bit by the exit of Frankfurt, although the chances for Frankfurt to go on were still before yesterday were pretty dim. They were there, and as it showed the result, they were close to getting something. Anyway, we got this game. I'm still going to take Werder. I mean, they are going to perform. They tried to beat Dortmund, and 2-2 was a very good game, very good result. In the end, they were a bit lucky. Still, in the end, they came closer to winning it. So, and they tried, and they will try here once again. Even if they wouldn't have a chance, they will play football. Here, I'm going to take Freiburg. It's, I mean, here I could argue about what are Hanover really hoping for. I mean, a win, fine, okay, -42, -41. In case they win both, and Stuttgart lose both, and Nuremberg are not going to win both, then they would have 24 points, and they would catch Stuttgart. But there we have the intermediate results. Anyway, Freiburg are going to play football, that's for sure. I mean, that's 33 points, well, they can go down 1 or 2 places, or maybe with a chance of going up here. But that's not even what they would, I mean, it would be nice to do so. They would be happy to get this extra money maybe, but they would play football anyway. And with Hannover's chances so dim, and given the intermediate results even more, that at some point they just know that's it. And so then it would be just a regular friendly game in some sense, and the better team might win, which is still Freiburg by miles. Here we're pretty much agreement, so not arguing about this one. Here we have, of course, I have to go against Dortmund, as I said already. I'm going to take Düsseldorf. They simply did play well, and here I have this little bit extra for me that Bayern could simply cruise to victory, and then Dortmund would know at any point, as soon as there's a pretty clear result. And it's not easy to try as much as you may start the game when you know it's 2-0 already, because you say, okay, we can invest whatever it is, and Leipzig are not going to turn this game around, right? So it's not easy to keep that approach then. And in Frankfurt-Mainz, I'm going to take Mainz. It's a derby. It is Frankfurt are in urgent need because they could also lose everything now after this exit. But the last performance were not that great. But we have a derby here, definite derby, and Mainz are not going to give the least away. But it's too much argued about it already, just because these figures are black and this one is red. It's too small of a difference. If there is a difference, it's here, and it's in, you could say here, to some extent here as well. And this, yeah, we could argue here, because 128 is quite a lot. I'm going to lose for a very huge chance, which I would still accept. It is a very big chance, because it's 68%. I'm going to lose this quite often, so I have to pick up something here in return. Anyway, I'm gonna, you can study this maybe, or you like it, because that's the X-Goals approach. I showed this in another video, but now I'm off. I'm gonna be back to the review, and of course we are all somehow excited about football in general, as we had these two exciting games midweek, where both underdogs, huge underdogs after the first leg went through, and also the Frankfurt game and so on. So quite some excitement in Europe, and also in the Bundesliga there are plenty of goals, and yeah, no, we can't see that here. But 3.15 goals per game or something like that. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll be back with a review then start next week. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.